This is an experiment to find out how much radiation you're likely to be absorbing when you have your smartphone next to your body. Thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers show that radio frequency radiation is associated with a whole range of adverse health effects, including neurological conditions, diabetes and cancer, especially brain and thyroid cancer. According to the telecom industry, radio frequency radiation from 4G and 3G frequencies penetrates 21 to 23 millimeters into your skin. The lower part of the diagram shows the specific absorption rate, SAR, associated with 4G and 3G networks in milliwatts per kilo. This comes to between 0.644 and 0.0435 milliwatts per kilo, which doesn't sound much, but is this really the case? So we set up a simple experiment to check this, and this is the apparatus that we used. 2 kilos of mincemeat to represent the human body, an iPhone 10, a meter to check the power density coming through the meat, a basic phone to call from, and a pair of disposable gloves. We're going to measure the radiation coming off the phone before it's being called and not wrapped in the meat. Then we'll do the same again with it ringing and wrapped in the meat. We'll measure the power density on top of the meat with the meter, and we position the meter at the top of the phone. So we're measuring the power density being emitted through the meat from the GPS Wi-Fi antennae. iPhone have 2 antennae, one for the communications at the bottom, the other GPS Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at the top end of the phone. We're measuring the radiation that comes out of the top. This is the radiation that's being emitted and not being received. We're measuring the level of radiation that's coming out of the phone when it's ringing. Since we know how much meat there is, we can crudely estimate the absorption. We tried to keep the same distance during all of the measurements and repeated the experiment 3 times. From this, we can roughly estimate the amount of radio frequency being absorbed. This slide shows 3 experiments running consecutively. The phone is measured before ringing, during ringing, before putting the meat on top of the phone, and then after wrapping it in the meat. This is the first experiment, and as you can see, the big number on the meter is coming in well over 100 milliwatts per meter squared. And then we wrap it in the meat. And then ring the phone. And as you can see, the number drops dramatically to below 50 milliwatts per meter squared. And now for the second experiment. And here is the phone on top of the meat. As you can see, it's coming in at over 100 milliwatts per meter squared. And we wrap it in the meat again. And the number more than halves. And here's the third experiment. Coming in at well over 100 milliwatts per meter squared. Wrap it in the meat. And the number drops to around 50 milliwatts per meter squared. So you can see that in each case, after putting the meat on top of the phone, power density goes down by about a half, from around 100 to around 50 milliwatts per meter squared. This means that around half the radiation is being absorbed by the meat, in other words, your body. This works out 50 milliwatts per 2 kilos of meat, i.e. about 25 milliwatts per kilo. But telecom industry says absorption is a tiny fraction of this. This actually means that your skin and underlying tissue may be absorbing up to 575 times the radiation telecoms industries are telling you. The reason they get away with this is because their experiments were only on the behavioural changes and not on the health effects. And also, experiments were only carried out on a small number of rats and monkeys and only for up to 60 minutes. The human experiments, however, were on a dummy filled with an electrolyte solution where they only measured the heating effects and only then for 6-minute durations. In conclusion, there are literally thousands of peer-reviewed scientific publications about the dangers to your health of mobile phone radiation, ranging from neurological disorders to diabetes and cancer. Children are especially at risk due to their smaller size and thinner skull bones. Radio frequency radiation also causes harm to bees and other insects. Mobile radiation could be decimating the population of these important pollinators. You cannot be insured against radio frequency injury. The scientific research is not taken into consideration by your local planning departments, who defer to regulatory bodies who have been captured by the telecom industry. When you object to planning applications for mobile phone masts, adverse health effects are not taken into consideration. They can get away with this because there is a massive drive to make us a smart grid nation, and the government wants to make the UK a leader for 5G. For more information, see the links in the description, and please share this video to help raise awareness. Thank you.